And we are live.
Hello, welcome. Here we are to talk about the finale of Alien Earth.
Yes. And then some other news.
Yep. So, what'd you think, Steve?
I think I liked it more than you did because I think you, uh, I don't think you like the way that it all wrapped up from what
Yeah.
I gathered from a little text we had the other day. But I'll say this: I didn't hate the ending as much as you did, but I thought this was probably the weakest episode of the series.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It just wasn't that strong. It was kind of, and I don't know. I don't like. I don't know if that's just because I think they knew they were getting a second season anyways. So, they wanted that. I think he wanted a little kind of cliffhanger. So okay, I mean, that's fine. It's not abnormal with TV shows. It's a little bit disappointing, but it's not abnormal. And I didn't think it's any worse than any of the other TV shows that just don't stick the landing on the final episode. Um, but all in all, I do think it's probably the weakest episode, if not this, tied for the weakest episode of the series for sure.
Yeah, it kind of felt like a mid-season episode. It didn't feel like it was
It did.
the end of anything. Uh, I don't like that they've once again upped Wendy's powers to now she could just control just about anything with an electrical circuit at will. And it's like, what? Like, why? It's like, okay.
Yeah.
So that was getting a bit much. The fact that she can communicate with the xenomorph now when it's miles away, and it's like, wait, how can it even hear you when you're you're in a little cage and it's like outside on the other side of the island, and she can still do the little click thing and it somehow hears her and is able to
Right. I
racing
mean,
and
I guess you could explain that away as like a dog whistle. All right, well, that's fine.
yeah,
Uh, but I get your point. They
yeah,
are, they kind of they overpowered her a bit, but I
yeah,
think they overpowered her the whole time. I mean, I
it
think
did.
she was a bit overpowered the whole time.
Yeah, xenomorph continues to be invincible to bullets.
Yeah,
Uh,
you're right.
it's been getting hit so many times and nothing's happening to it. I'm like, this is a little weird. Um, but yeah, it didn't feel like and you could tell like when when Kirsch gets in his fight and you find out that he's a robot, it's like, yeah, I kind of knew that already.
Sure.
But you never really find out like why he let the chaos in the lab go the way it did. It's
Right.
just like I guess he just did it because I don't know, maybe because he's a robot and he was curious. I don't know. But I don't think that's something they're going to address either. It's like, okay, he just decided to lie and let the shit hit the fan just for kicks. I don't
Oh,
know.
you don't? I actually think they might. I think they'll definitely. In fact, you know what? I think it's a possibility, a strong possibility that they'll
Yeah.
I think in season two, they're gonna dive. I think more into that relationship because obviously that's a weird relationship, right?
Yeah.
Uh, with Boy Cavalier, and also, we'll get to that. Anyways, go ahead. Sorry to interrupt there.
Oh, that's fine. And then the guy, I always forget his name, Marwan or whatever his name is. Like they never told us like why didn't he tell Yutani about the evidence that Cavalier was responsible for all this? And it's like he's still trying to do things himself, I guess. But then she shows up anyway with this whole arsenal and decides no, she's gonna take care of it herself.
Right.
So it's like, okay, that was a little weird. So I guess his little solo mission didn't really go anywhere. Uh, and again, why he's keeping that to himself? Why he didn't tell her to begin with? Um, so it's like, okay, there's that. I like that the eyeball alien has escaped and has taken, the doctor's like, okay, we're gonna go somewhere with this,
Yeah.
rather than just keeping it with the sheep.
So far, that the iMidge, I like to call Oculus, but I
Yeah,
get the official name is iMidge, uh, is my favorite character.
yeah.
It is the
And
best
then
character.
and then they tried to have Wendy and Boy Cavalier have this kind of confrontation at the end, but it was kind of like, eh. Uh, and now she's got them basically all locked in the cage, and it's like, okay, I get it. The kids at the beginning were sort of the prisoners of them, and now they've flipped the tables, but
Flip the
it still
tables.
doesn't
Yeah.
feel like they've told a story in season one. And it didn't feel like there was really enough there to stretch it over 8 episodes. It's I don't know, it was okay. I wasn't I was kind of
Yeah.
disappointed when they said, "Oh, cliffhanger." I'm like, "Well, at the rate you've been going, you haven't really delivered a banger yet to earn a cliffhanger ending."
I don't know. I thought there was a couple of banger episodes, but we differ in that. I actually, on the whole, I liked it. I like this show.
Yeah.
Do I put it in the pantheon of Dexter and Sons of Anarchy? No, but as a fun sci-fi show that's not overly cliched and CW'd out. I appreciate what it is. I just appreciate being back in the world. I think
Yeah.
that we're getting alien stuff either on the big screen or the small screen. That's good.
Yeah.
Not everything has to be 10 out of 10.
Yep.
This is definitely not a 10 out of 10.
Mm.
But I do appreciate it for what it is. I like it, and it's definitely got me intrigued to see where it goes.
Yep.
Obviously, these things are. It's called Alien Earth for a reason, and it's not just the xenomorph, right? So it's these other monsters are let loose, and we don't know exactly how many. That's one.
Yeah.
I mean, and they do that on purpose, right? So they can continue these storylines and use these different monsters, in further episodes. So that's fine. They didn't have to, and I like that. I like that it's kind of a mystery, and some of the cooler ones that we did get to kind of spend a little bit of time with this in this first season are still there. They're gonna get, and they're getting out. They're getting out. Although they're still on the island, and like I said, Utani's gonna have to nuke that thing from outer space. He's gonna have to obliterate that whole place. I don't know how else to control or contain that. I guess we'll figure that one out later.
Ballerina is literally one of the greatest films ever made. Is the F1 review tonight? No, I will do that one a bit later. Right now we're covering the finale of Alien Earth. We've been covering all the episodes, and so this is what we're covering tonight. We'll cover some other movies we've seen lately and that kind of thing before we get out of here and other news.
Yeah.
But thanks for coming. Yeah, they didn't really zero in much on the other aliens in this. They kind of alluded to a bit. I like the one that that comes down from the ceiling, like the big the fly trap something. That was really neat.
I like to see. That was one of my favorite parts of the episode, to see that one in action finally, and what it can do. Whoa!
I did find it interesting when they mentioned that it wasn't really Cavalier's company, like it was his dad's company, and he usurped it from him or something like that. If I remember correctly, I thought, okay, that makes sense.
And I wasn't sure that the old man was actually. That took me by surprise. I wasn't sure. I mean, the way he acted was a little robotic, but I didn't think he was a synth.
Yeah, I didn't think he was that either. Yeah, that was
the last episode. So that was a good reveal, and the fact that basically he was the first synth that Boy Cavalier made. I thought that was cool. That was a cool, you know what I mean? And basically, I think together they usurped the father, and took over that company together.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
So I get the sense that that guy's the brains of the operation, and Cavalier's just kind of,
Right.
It's like, hey, Cavalier's a little bit of a prodigy, and then he can make these androids and stuff, but he's not doesn't seem to have the best street smarts.
No, and I think that's part of I think down the road what we're going to get with Kirsch. I think we're going to figure out that he feels the same way. Like he's been around so long that he knows the like the ins and outs of how both Boy Cavalier, that I can't remember that guy's name, the old man synth, and how that relationship works, and kind of about the whole thing, because he seems a bit like dismissive of Boy Cavalier in a way, like like we run this company, you moron. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we tolerate you is kind of the feeling I got from Kirsch.
Yeah.
Who's brilliantly played, by the way, Timothy Olyphant.
Yeah, and then the other kids were just kind of there and didn't really have any arcs, but it's like, okay. So we'll see what they do with the second season, but I didn't really have much to say about this finale.
I didn't have much. I don't really have much to say about it either. In fact, because we had to wait a week, I had to kind of really take a mental note and take some stock because it was mostly forgettable.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, nothing really happened. I mean, some things get tied up, some things are left wide open, and just there they are.
Yeah.
I'm just not, you kind of see where it's going to go. I'm like, I don't know if I would have went this way.
Yeah.
But it's not for us to, if we want to make it, we can definitely go make it ourselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think there's much more to say unless you have anything else.
Not really.
It is what it is. It wrapped up. It kind of, it wrapped some things up. It left kind of a cliffhanger. I think you hit the nail on the head, though. It seemed more like a mid-season finale.
Yeah.
Like,
we'll come back in a couple weeks after break,
Right.
Because they didn't leave me with anything super juicy, I thought, to like, oh, I gotta pop in the next episode right now,
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm interested to see where it goes, but I'm not like, oh my God, I can't wait for the next season to start.
Yeah.
I'm in. Don't get me wrong, but it's not, it's not top of mind for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm just glad we're getting good content from that IP, which was basically dead.
Yeah.
So good on it.
That's good.
Okay. You want to move into some reviews? You were fortunate enough to have seen some
I have
newer films.
Let me just share the link here, see if anybody else will jump on. But yes, I did just get back from seeing the Smashing Machine.
How'd you like it?
I didn't really know anything about Mark Kerr, story.
Yeah.
And I don't really feel like I know much even after watching the movie, because you're following that 3-year period where he's playing for the tournament in Japan.
Yep.
And he's dealing with addiction, and he's got that volatile relationship with Dawn. And that's kind of what it kind of runs around in circles with that same issue for about 2 hours.
Yeah.
And Ryan Bader was really good as Mark Coleman. He was a really great in the movie as well. And it's Benny Safdie.
Love that guy.
Yeah. And it's Benny Safdie, so the camera's bouncing around like crazy. I think I was sitting a little too close to the screen.
That
Dwayne Johnson's definitely really good as a dramatic actor for that role, but it was like, okay, so he's dealing with addiction and he's got the crazy relationship while he's trying to, they're fighting, and he's incorporating some of the UFC type stuff, and then they're having the rule changes where it's like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. But it didn't feel like it as a movie. It didn't feel like it was building towards this is going to become the UFC. It's just like it covers that time period, and then it ends with the year 2000 big Grand Prix showdown thing, and it's like, oh, is Mark Kerr and Mark Coleman going to have a showdown, and for how the tournaments go, and that's kind of the tension point going in towards the finale. And it's like, okay, but isn't the idea of this movie that he's they're two of the guys who kind of got UFC going, and they have title cards at the end to allude to that as well, that they're some of the earlier pioneers of the sport type thing.
Some of the early pioneers of the sport, but definitely UFC had already started.
Right, and it's like, but the whole movie's like them mostly dealing with the this Japanese conference type thing. Back and forth.
With Pride was a massive organization.
Yeah, and that was new to me. I hadn't really been familiar with that whole world. So, I mean, the filmmaking was there, but again, some of it almost feels like you're ticking boxes of a biopic. Oh, you have ups and downs in the relationship. Oh, you have to deal with the addiction and stuff and coming back. And it was like, okay, but I don't feel like I really know a lot about Mark Kerr himself after watching this movie.
Yeah, because I mean, that's what sucks about taking just a short, like you said, three-year period of a biopic, which should be, in my opinion, if you're doing a biopic, it should be the lifetime, or up until the from if you enter the public sphere until now, or until you died, or something like that. It's hard to just pick a a snapshot in time and tell the story, and then have your audience come away with an understanding of who this person was.
Yeah, and so I gave it like 3.5 out of 5, 3 or 3.5.
That's not too bad. I mean, that's the average movie.
Yeah, I
It's like,
probably
that's
wouldn't.
good, right?
I don't have any like inclination to watch it again though. It's like, okay, I saw it. Emily Blunt was pretty good, and Dwayne Johnson's really good in the dramatic role.
So that's what I heard going into the movie. I heard, the buzz was watch out for Dwayne Johnson's dramatic acting. It's really good. Coming out, I heard that Emily Blunt's really good and kind of stole the show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Okay.
So that was that one. I also saw Him, the football movie produced by Jordan Peele. It's like
that movie, just before you start, if you don't mind, nothing about this movie in the trailers or any of the synopsis or anything sounded good to me at all. I had zero interest in this movie, so the hype machine did not reach me, if there was one.
So it's a quarterback prospect who's spending a week training at his idol's facility. So he's going to be like the next big thing potentially for the team's quarterback. And Marlon Wayans is really good as a dramatic actor in this movie. It's like I'd love to see more of that from him.
I heard that.
The protagonist is really boring. There's nothing to his character. There's no reason to care about him. It has some striking visuals in there. It tries to go for like a horror vibe, but it's like, yeah, we get it. Football's a religion and practically like a cult, and you dedicate your life to it and you break yourself, and it's all for the owners. But it's like, yeah, what else is new? The sky's blue today,
Right.
And I didn't care for how the movie, when it gets to its climax, I thought they really fumbled it pretty bad as you're getting towards the end for how it's like you could mine something interesting out of that idea. I just didn't think there was anything really with depth. It's like, okay, you could go in the direction of having it just be not supernatural, but there is supernatural elements. Like the fact that he's, Marlon Wayans is running it like a total cult type thing, and like if they'd stuck with that, I think it would have been a better movie. But when they try and make it actual supernatural and weird, it just kind of gets, and it didn't really land very well. And I don't know who this Justin Tipping guy is. I don't know if it's his first movie or whatever, but I feel that they threw Jordan Peele's name all over it to try and bring in more people. And it's like, I don't think that's a good strategy because this isn't really a good movie. And the whole Christ metaphor of sacrificing yourself for football. It's like, come on,
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
So what did you give that? Did you rank it?
I give that like 2.5 out of 5.
2.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked horrible. It looked like a horrible movie to me.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge sports movie. I mean, I like good sports movies, but that one just didn't do it at all for me.
Yeah. Saw Big Bold Beautiful Journey. Not as bad as everybody said it was. Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie don't really have a lot of chemistry. It's kind of more of a sad, somber movie about these two people on this strange journey where the rent-a-car chimes in to tell them when you need to stop and go through this door, go through that door, and they're reliving certain key moments of their lives. I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be bolstered if they had more chemistry and if it was a bit more whimsical. Because it's a bit more like they just accept that, oh, this magic weird stuff is happening, and they just kind of go with it. When it could have probably been more like, La La Land or Umbrellas of Cherbourg type fantasy, I think would have helped it a bit more. So, I mean, Colin and Margot were good, and then the product placement with Burger King was just awful. Because these two characters were starting their journey, and they meet at a Burger King, and they're literally talking about the sandwich they're eating. I'm like, this is so bad.
Oh, boy.
That was just really bad product placement, but it was okay. I gave that like I think a 3 or 3.5 out of 5 average. Not terrible, but
yeah. That's interesting. I like that's one I wanted to see. I haven't seen it yet. I'll obviously I'll wait till it comes on streaming or rent it. But yeah, I mean I like the fact that you thought it was better than a lot of people are saying it was. I think it got a lot of.
It got a lot of 1-star reviews and hate. I'm like, it's not anywhere near that bad,
Like, where's that coming from? Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. Oh, hello, Ernesto.
Hello.
We now get to One Battle After Another, the new Paul Thomas Anderson movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was The runtime flies by. It's like 2 hours 34 minutes without trailers or commercials. I still think it maybe is a little long, like maybe 15 or 20 minutes too long. It's really funny, and I think they could have advertised the fact that this is much more of a satire than the trailers make it out to be. It's not as much of a straight contemporary thing. It's like really funny, particularly with the Sean Penn character and the Leonardo DiCaprio character just being this washed up drunk pothead, kind of like. And it's funny because he's not as stoned as Doc Sportello was in Inherent Vice, another Paul Thomas Anderson movie, but he achieves even less than Doc Sportello does because he's just so like discombobulated the whole time through the movie. It's like a Mary Chase type storyline. I think Benicio del Toro is a scene stealer as the sensei at the karate dojo and the leader of the undocumented community in the fictional town where most of the movie's taking place. Car chases are good. I don't think the car chase is an all-timer. A lot of people have been saying that. Because here's the thing. In the French Connection, yeah, they have the cameras mounted on the front bumper, but in that chase, the horizon line is at most 2 to 10 feet in front of the car at any given time because there's so many obstacles and things on the road. Whereas this movie, you see the posters of the desert. It's like, okay, there's no obstacles on the road, and the focus is always hundreds of yards ahead where the next car is, while the camera's like mounted on the ground as it's going up and down on the hillside. Like, okay, that's a unique thing to see, but I didn't think it didn't really scream all-time car chase best thing that people are talking about. And I thought, there's some things contemporary about it, obviously, but I think Sean Penn is also a scene stealer. They barely give you the tip of the iceberg for his character. Merry Christmas, as well as the other like Tony Goldwyn, or no, not Tony. Tony. What's his name? Tony, or maybe it's Tony Goldwyn. And the other people who make up this club, the super secret club that are kind of like imagine if a bunch of people like Judge Smales from Caddyshack have their super secret club, their cabal that Sean Penn wants to join, but he has to cover up things from his past, and so
in order to get in.
Yes, and he needs to use the military to help him. So he lies to the military and says, "We're going to do these drug raids and immigration raids," but it's a ruse because he needs their equipment and resources so he can go after certain people. And it's like, if the movie had advertised it like that because of the absurdity of trying to get into this ridiculous club and how he's doing that rather than make it look super political and contemporary, I think it would be doing better. I think it's a really fun movie, though. It's probably his most crowd-pleasing movie for PTA. It's his most accessible movie. I think everything's very surface level. There's not really much to think about. It kind of wears everything on its sleeve, but it's really fun. And I've seen it twice already. What did you think, Ernesto?
I think it's been his best in a long time, and with the exception of his famous one, the one that pretty much got him, all notoriety, which I haven't seen. It's in the pile, and not for lack of trying. It's because I'm not.
There Will Be Blood.
Yeah, there's no bandwidth yet to watch that movie. It's like one of those movies that's been hyped up so much that it keeps getting buried and buried and buried. So I'll get to it and watch it. And
didn't you just see that in the theater? Okay.
I just saw that in the theater the other night for the first time, and it was like, even with digital projection, the filmic quality was just luscious compared to the Blu-ray. And it was such a great theatrical experience.
Gorgeous film.
So, yeah. With the exception of that movie, I think this is his best work, period, right now, until I watch it, and then I'll rank it properly. But this is his best one. I liked it better than Inherent Vice because I was bored out of my mind with Inherent Vice.
Oh, I love
Never
that
watched Licorice Pizza just
because
it didn't look appealing. I like The Master just because of the interactions between Philip Seymour Hoffman and the complete Christian Bale-esque character build that Joaquin Phoenix did for the role.
I love that movie.
So yeah, this movie, like Kat said, I agree. It's very accessible. Anybody can watch it. It really doesn't make you feel like you're lost in any capacity. It throws you right into it. Some people might take it straightforward. Other people might not know it's a parody because when I was watching it, some people were laughing, but they were laughing hesitantly, as if they didn't know if it's appropriate to laugh at what's going on. Whereas the rest of the audience was laughing because, this is where you actually get to laugh. It's like it's begging you to laugh. I didn't feel the runtime. The runtime went by very swiftly. I can't really say what needs to go away or not, but I do think that some scenes needed to be trimmed only because when a character needs to do something, they're not moving fast enough to do it, or they're taking their sweet ass time to react. And you're just like, okay, I get that you're trying to get a real reaction from the character, but can you like make them react faster? like, like, come on. I think it's one of my favorite Benicio del Toro roles as well. Not the strongest Leo DiCaprio role, but again, Leo DiCaprio can sleepwalk through it, and you still think, oh, it's a great role for him, but not visceral like he's been in the last 10 years. And this is my favorite role of Sean Penn, hands down. He is aggressive, unapologetically vile. And even when he does shit and the way he walks, even when it's supposed to be like, oh, this is awkward but funny, I'm like, he is selling it. And
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if he gets a nomination for the Oscars.
Yeah. I listened to a podcast today, and Benicio and Leonardo were like, yeah, we were Paul kept making things up on the fly to try and figure out how these characters should kind of go, because it's mostly, a chase movie. And he says repeatedly they kept coming up with instances where they thought that Leo's character Bob should do something heroic, and they're like, "Nah, let's just have him fuck up again." And they just kept doing that over and over again throughout because they just thought it was funnier.
Yeah, especially with the second time or the last time we see them together, it's like, wow, dude, really? But at the same time, it's like, well, it's really Benicio's fault because he instigated him to do what ended up, kind of derailing the plan.
Yeah.
But I don't think the marketing did this movie any favors, and I agree they should have marketed it differently. I think the focus should have been on Sean Penn's character about, hey, you're going to enter the secret club, but we need to do a deep background check. And in the trailer, you can show him interacting with people that he shouldn't be interacting, that you can kind of like, edit it in a way where he's on a mission to do something. And then you can make another trailer from the perspective of the underdogs, the ones who we're supposed to root for. But when I saw that first trailer, I'm like, what the fuck is this movie about? I mean, I'm going to watch it because I like the cast, but what the fuck is this movie about? And I looked at the synopsis. I'm like, oh, that's what it is? Okay.
Yeah.
No, very good. Great acting, great cinematography. No, I recommend it. It's a very funny, very serious. It balances a lot of tones, and it never really pulls you out of it. And the satire, especially with the secret club, I'm like, okay, I see what you're going for. Because a lot of clubs are very ridiculous when you think about it. So I think it's purposeful with the way it's treated. But just because it's satire doesn't mean it's not as, I'm like, oh, fuck. It's getting serious now. And yeah, you were correct. It's Tony Goldwyn.
Okay, yeah. He was just so fun. And what's funny about it is everybody in the club just plays it straight. Like, they're not doing an over-the-top Judge Smales type thing from Caddyshack. They're just totally playing it straight. And it's just, oh, God, that got so many laughs when I saw that in IMAX.
Also, there was a moment, and it's not really a spoiler, but it's kind of like a quote when they're in a meeting, they're discussing a very serious situation, and one of the guys is going to key in another character about what's going on or what the big issue is. And the guy's like, well, I hate to be indelicate when I say it. And I'm expecting him to drop the N-word, and he never drops it. He just uses like the more politically correct version. And I'm just like, whoa, why would you say indelicate and then not use it? Because it kind of feels like it was building up to it. So I'm kind of surprised that it kind of like, I mean, I'm not saying he needs it, but it felt like that's where it was going. Because oftentimes I felt like I was watching almost a Quentin Tarantino movie in some scenes.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
you're not the only one. Other people have said that as well.
Yeah, I recommend this movie. It's very fun to watch. The acting is very good. Some characters will get on your nerve, but there's a reason why they behave the way they do. And it's very timely, but I don't think the intent of it was to be timely. I just think it just happens to be timely.
Yeah, because they filmed this in the beginning. It started January last year, so
yeah. I mean, you can drop it in any location in the last 10 years, but it's not specifically the point of what's happening. Like, it's just when the movie opens, you're just like, oh, timely.
Yeah, and then I like how that it's showing the incompetence and stuff on both sides, because they asked Paul, "What's this movie about?" He says, "This is what happens when little, revolutionary groups and things completely collapse in on themselves, and what becomes of these types of people." Because the Perfidia character is just not. She thinks of herself as a real badass, but you can tell she's really not because of what she ends up doing, and it's even in her name. Her name is literally a spoiler. Because it's a Spanish word meaning betrayal. And it's like, okay. So it's like, and you see that with the other guys, they think themselves kind of badass, but then when the shit hits the fan and it's like, oh, now it's going to come after us. It's like, well, yeah, that's how this works,
Yeah. This movie, I would say, is, excuse me. This movie is like the satire version of How to Blow Up a Pipeline. Where you have eco-terrorists and they have a mission, but the whole movie is played straight. But this one is just like, well, we'll play it straight, but we'll have fun with it.
Yeah. This one was really funny. Like when they're like, oh, like when the club is talking about he raided a school. It's like a bad name. Like, this is too good. But yeah, I've seen it twice now, and I look forward to adding it to my PTA collection.
Yeah. If I do have one negative, and it's really not, it's not even a negative, it's a nitpick, because I was never clear on Sean Penn's character's rank and position, because they kept referring to him as Colonel, but then I would see him in a more traditional police, setting, and then when he's getting promotions, it's not a promotion that you typically see the way it's presented. It looks more like, well, this looks like something that you would be doing at a police station, not at a military installation.
Yeah, that was a little funny. Like when they say, oh, the Medal of Honor, and it's the Bedford Forest Medal of Honor.
Yeah.
It's like,
for whatever reason, it was just a little bit like, well, if he's an ICE, if that's basically an ICE facility, then I'm assuming he's either ICE or Border Patrol. But then it gets a little bit more domestic, and not, like domestic by way of like local instead of, being on border areas. So it kind of felt like it was flip-flopping in a way where I'm like, I'm kind of lost. What are you again? What's your
exact jurisdiction kind of thing?
Exactly. Yeah. What's your jurisdiction? Because you are all over the place, and I don't know what pull you have here. I feel like we just need you, as Kat, we always say, the plot demands you to be here right now.
Right.
Yeah.
There are colonels in the regular police force. So
yeah, that's a rank in there too. Yeah. Because he is dressed in like a police uniform when they promote him to colonel, but then
he's in military fatigue the next scene.
Right, but the guys in the military fatigue that are conducting the raids, it also says police on the back of their
on the back,
even though they're wearing green camo.
Yeah, at that point I'm thinking, okay, this is an ICE raid.
Well, he's using it under the guise of an ICE raid because, as we said, he's trying to find these people, and all the people conducting the raid things
in there, and it's just like, wait, who's letting you go in here?
Well, he just has the authority because he runs it. Like, yeah, maybe they could have had another upper character, but whatever.
So it just felt like everything was running through him and only him. That was
because it's also a satire, so that's part of it. Loosely based on Vineland from Thomas Pynchon, and this is a movie where you could take DiCaprio out of it and absolutely nothing changes. He's like a vessel where the story is happening around him, and he's just really funny, and it's just you're watching him fall on his face every time, which is kind of neat. Which is why I love how chill Benicio del Toro's character is through everything. He's like, yeah, this is like, oh, nice, right? It's like another Tuesday for us. It's no big deal. It's just, he's just really funny as the sensei. And, how they're drinking and driving down the highway like it's no big thing. And it's like, oh, these are great. So, yeah, I recommend it. I give it a 4 out of 5. I think there are a couple of decisions in the climax I did not care for. I feel the movie's keying you up for a meeting of two particular characters that you don't get, which I thought kind of sucks the air out of it a little bit. And other little things and then again, the car chase is kind of overhyped. And then there's another character who plays a significant role in the climax who I didn't think deserved to have as big of a role as he gets. because he isn't introduced so late in late in the second act, so to speak. No, you get to do this big thing. But yeah, I still dig it. I think it's a pretty good movie. Not my favorite Paul Thomas Anderson. I still like Inherent Vice and Licorice Pizza and There Will Be Blood more, but this is still pretty good.
I give it the same rating, 4.
Yeah.
Also, I'm already on a first name basis with this girl who's giving those mini iPads to give your opinion on the movie you just watched, and then you get free movie passes and stuff like that. Even because I've seen her now 6 times when I go to the AMC, and I've already given her my opinion on movies like The Killing of a Unicorn, this one. I did one for F1. I did one for.
She worked for CinemaScore.
I think it's CinemaScore. Whoever is working with AMC.
The CinemaScore I like because they actually get you right as you come out of the theater.
Yeah, she's always standing out there. She's got like the stack of iPads for people to start filling it out. So she and I are now on a first name basis because oh wait, did I see you? Yep, because I see her like every other week now.
I've never seen anybody like that at theater anywhere that I've ever been.
Yeah, me neither.
That'd be neat.
But that's why I trust CinemaScore, their ratings, because it's their audience rating is actual people who saw the movie
right
out of the theater. So
I find that CinemaScore tends to give these absurdly high ratings for like the dumbest shit, and then a lot of really good movies they get low scores for because it's the general.
Yeah, I mean, and there's that recency bias too, right? So
right.
I mean, there's a lot of times you'll see something and you walking out of the theater, you're like, oh yeah, that was badass, and you tell them, and then you go home and ponder on it for a minute, and then the next day or 2 days or 3 days later, you're like, maybe it wasn't as good as I thought it was.
Yeah,
right? Because the experience was so good.
Right.
Yeah, I think and some movies, even when the cinema score is very low, they're kind of like already determined to succeed because it's built for a specific audience. So even if you give it the lowest of scores, it's still going to perform great. I know when Five Nights at Freddy's came out, if you were to ask me what I thought about it, I'm just like, this was a piece of crap. I hope the video game is better. But everybody who's played the game, which were basically 12-year-olds and 15-year-olds, they were the ones that made that opening weekend the way it was. But I'm sitting there watching everybody screaming at, oh my God, look at this, look at that. I'm just like, what are you yelling about? This is terrible.
I mean, it was a mediocre in a world right now where we have an embarrassment of riches when it comes to awesome horror movies, small and large. That was super mediocre movie.
Yeah, and the thing is that I have seen gameplays of that franchise, and the whole goal of that series is to try to achieve a tiny mission, survive the 5 nights without the machines coming to get you. And the thing that sticks out about this game and other games like it that have come out is a term that I learned when that movie came out is gateway horror. That is basically for younger people that they can watch without having to be told that, well, you can't do it because you're too young, because it doesn't rely on blood. It doesn't rely on grotesque killing. It only relies on tension. It relies on your sense of awareness, your surroundings, and your ability to have puzzle memories and solve mysteries on a clock, because something is coming at you, and if you don't do it, you're going to die. So when I saw some of the gameplay, I'm just like, oh, wow, this is very intense. There's a moment where you kind of feel like a chill coming down your spine because you know there's something there. So the game is designed to play on all 5 of your senses. Well, not the smelling part, but if you're playing with a microphone, they can hear you if you're not careful. So when you're watching the movie, none of that is there. But because everything is like a character that they recognize, they're all like, oh my God. It's like the chicken jockey situation with Minecraft. Yeah. I'm like, I've seen some Minecraft. I don't even know what chicken jockey is, but I don't think it deserves that kind of, reaction. Did we already talk about him or?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I talked about that and how I didn't like it.
Oh, well, allow me to throw my football in there as well. I didn't like it either. I didn't hate it. I think visually I liked it. I liked the idea of it. I like that it was basically the sports version of Get Out
Mhm.
because it felt like it was going that route of Get Out, like a very similar feeling of here's this character being groomed for something, and it might end up the way Get Out was supposed to go, and then that character is going to fight his way out of the situation. It kind of plays that way, but it's building up towards this climax that when it does get there, I'm just like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's what I sat here for. I mean,
Exactly.
don't get me wrong, you look great. I like the visual. I like Marlon Wayans just going hamming it up and having the time of his life in this role. But what was all this building up for?
Yeah. It's
And
like
I
you
was
can
like,
tell what's going on throughout, and then when they reveal it, it's like, yeah, well, we already knew that. It's like,
yeah, and I figured it out by the middle of the second, almost ending that second act. I'm like, okay, I think I know where this is going. But when you get to it, it's just like, and you ruined it. You killed it. You had me, and then you lost me right there.
Yeah.
I think it's one of Marlon Wayans' best performances in his career as far as drama and thrillers go. I think the one movie that I saw before this that he showed a different side of his acting ability was the one that he did for Apple movies or that Apple TV had that had Bill Murray and Rashida Jones in, where he plays the ex-husband. I think that was a good performance from him because you're used to seeing him doing the parody movies. So
yeah.
not used to seeing him do drama. So this was very good. There was that one scene where he's waiting for the draft and there's somebody in the hallway with him and it turns out it's like this tiny little person that wants to get his forehead signed. That was weird because I'm just like, is that supposed to be a person or a hairless monkey? I couldn't figure it out. I was like, it's framed well, but what the fuck is that? And yeah, the lead actor, I'm like, you're reacting very muted to a lot of shit that you should be yelling at.
Yeah, he's very dull.
Very dull. It's like, man, a wet blanket can act better than you. But it is what it is. What did you give it? Like a 2 out of 5?
Like 2.5.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And what else? What else came out?
And I saw Big Bold Beautiful Journey.
Okay, I haven't seen that one. I'll probably watch it if it falls. I know.
I don't know what else. Those are the only new movies I saw. The Smashing Machine, and I thought it was okay. Like I said, Dwayne Johnson was really good. Emily Blunt was good, but I didn't feel like I learned anything about Mark Kerr from watching it.
I know tomorrow I'm doing a double feature. I'm watching Anemone and The Smashing Machine.
I don't think Anemone is getting released around here. At least it might down at Tower, but that hasn't been getting good reviews either.
I had to remind myself how to pronounce it because every time I see the name, I want to say Anemone.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is the one with his son, right?
Yes.
His son made it, yeah.
Yeah. My initial reaction to when that was announced, I'm like, oh boy, this better be a goddamn good movie because aside from
it's weird, it got really good buzz out of the festivals, but it's not getting very good reviews.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, oh boy, this better be good to get you out of retirement. Even if he's your son, it better be good. So we'll see. I wonder if Sean Bean will survive.
Yeah, I'll start Deadpool on that one.
Yeah, I think I saw something else. Let me see if I can remember what it was, and maybe I can talk about it if I haven't already. I saw the Demon Slayer movie, which I don't know if anyone here watches that anime, but it's good for the people who are watching the series. It's bad for anybody who's coming in here cold to watch it without watching the previous 3 seasons. So I don't recommend doing that. It's performing very well, and I know someone brought it up to me about, I don't get it. Why is it performing so good if it's like, well, and I told them, well, it's different because this is not one of those, most anime shows, when they get a movie and they're very popular, a lot of times, let me use this as an example, Dragon Ball Z, Bleach, and right now One Piece, they've been running for 20, almost 30 years. they've had anime movies, but those movies, with the exception of a few, are not part of the canon of the series.
Mm.
So they're always like one-offs that are based on the anime or the manga, but they're basically a brand new story that is not canon to the current narrative. So you can watch it as it is, and any updates that you see in every other movie that comes after that, it's just basically, well, last time we saw the characters in this show, they looked this way, so they're gonna look and act from where the show is, but it's not related to it whatsoever.
Okay, so this guy says Demon Slayer was an absolute snooze fest and that nothing can beat Dragon Ball Z.
All right. Anyway.
Yeah, we did talk about one battle after another, just rewind about 10 minutes or whatever. We liked it. Really good satire, really funny.
Yeah. The difference here is the why it's performing the way it does and why I think the next two will perform as much, if not a bit more, is because these three movies are going to be the last of the series, because instead of doing 3 more seasons, they're adapting the rest of the narrative to big screen movies.
Mhm.
So, but the downside is, which you could probably argue would mostly happen the same way if it came out on TV as a regular season, is that the next 2 movies are supposed to come out 2 years after the other. So by the time 2030 comes around, I'll almost be 40, and then the series will end.
Mm.
I kind of wish it would come out 1 year after another, but you can't rush stuff like this. You have to take it as is. I mean, look at the most recent the Spider-Verse we were supposed to be getting. That's keeps getting pushed back.
Yeah.
So yeah, I haven't seen anything else. I think I'm gonna watch a few other streaming movies that I've had on the back burner. I'm finally gonna get to watch Elio. I finally am going to watch 2 Apple Plus movies that came out and a couple of the Netflix ones. I'm not interested in watching the new season of The Witcher. I think that series is going to get canned after the 4th. No offense to Liam, it's not his fault. It's just that he came into a shitstorm and he's not going to save it whatsoever. But I am going to watch the animated movie that came out earlier this year.
Mm.
Other than that, yeah, so far so good on the fall movies.
Yep.
But yeah, I'll watch Anemone and Smashing Machine tomorrow back to back, and then the week after that is Roofman,
Mm.
with, Tatum and Dunst.
Oh, that's coming up. Mm.
I want to double feature it with something else that I know it's coming out that day.
Tron Ares, right?
I believe so, yes. But for whatever reason, the AMC app is not letting me get the ticket because it has like that slight overlap with the movie is finishing and the other one is starting. But the thing is that when it finished, it's in the credits, and when the other one is starting, it's still going through the trailers.
Yeah.
Right. Just 30 minutes into the trailer.
Yeah, I do that all the time in my theater.
So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna get to the theater and I'm gonna get it directly from the staff to get me the ticket to my A-list account.
This guy says Tron Ares is the next film he's watching, but he's going to skip the Smashing Machine because people said it was mediocre and pointless.
It sounds like it's pointless, and from what Kat said, it sounds like it's mediocre. So,
yeah,
I didn't have high hopes for it. Benny Safdie's fine, but his styles hit and miss for me.
Yeah, I was sitting too close to the screen for that one. I was like getting motion sickness, and I'm still feeling a bit of it.
Was that the only seat available?
No, but I didn't think it was going to be that type of movie. The trailers didn't make it seem like it was that going to be that type of movie.
Okay.
It looked like he was going to actually, make an adult film. Not adult film, but a grown-up film.
Well, it is. It's just that it still doesn't have as much.
Oh, no! You already put it out there in the universe, Steve. Now you know. Now you know it's going to happen.
Don't call me, Benny. I'm good to go.
Digital Playground is going to make their parody soon.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to seeing Dwayne do more dramatic stuff. It could be a nice change of pace from
the action stuff. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and I don't mind the action.
Get away from playing himself. So much of his career he's played himself.
Agree. It's like I don't mind the action stuff. It's just that the last, I'm being generous when I put it to it because he's been doing one after the other in like a quick turnaround point. But the last 6 or 7 that he's done are just interchangeable.
Yeah, I agree.
Like even if you were to just say, well, one is a Christmas movie, one is a summer movie, I'm just like they're interchangeable. It's like the same character. You can just copy and paste and change the names to make it seem like you're not copying the homework.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then of course I think next year, is it next year or is it 2 years from now that we're getting the live action Moana movie that nobody asked for?
Yeah. I think that's next year.
And I believe that the year after that is when we get the third Moana movie.
Yeah.
Which I'm curious about. I didn't like the second one that much, but it is setting up something that I actually am looking forward to.
Yeah.
I haven't seen I haven't seen any of the movies that we talked about on the show today. One Battle After Another is interesting. I like PTA, so I was thinking about going tomorrow and seeing that. I can't go Saturday. I'm going to the Pacific Air Show.
So you're not gonna watch the Life of a Showgirl release party either.
No. But also in my theaters is Good Boy.
Oh yeah.
That film looks very
Oh,
interesting.
yeah, the movie that
That's
stole
a short movie too, only 1 hour 13 minutes.
The movie that stole my idea.
Did it? Nice.
Well, no, not really. It was something that I was brainstorming and talking about with Kat like in late 2020, early 2021. And I was just thinking about, hey, you know what hasn't been done yet? A horror movie where the main character is a dog.
No, there you go.
But my idea was that it's a canine unit that's retired and he gets adopted into a family and then shit starts happening and then he uses his police training to protect the family. And the movie would be called Canine, not to be confused with the comedy movie Canine.
Yeah.
So I went back and looked.
Remember that?
Yeah, so I went back into my messages and I found it, and I went to talk to Elijah about it. Hey, do I have a legal standing here? And then he's like, not really. I mean, you could try, but the fact that yours is diametrically different than whatever's being promoted, it might not even make it past a civil suit. So it's just like, but it doesn't say you can't try it. And
well, you can't prove that they stole the idea either.
Exactly, I can't prove it either. But I'm just like, damn, like this guy and me just had the same idea, but he got to it first. Because mine just came randomly to mind. I wasn't expecting to see someone do it. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. All right. I guess that kind of wraps it up.
Yeah, and for people who need to know, Fathom Events are releasing The Dark Crystal on October 12th. Spider-Man trilogy through
This
Fathom.
weekend again, yeah.
And what else are they releasing through
I don't
Fathom?
know.
Oh, Trick or Treat, the 2009, 2010?
Somewhere around there, 7 or 8, yeah.
Yeah, it's coming out on the 14th and the 16th of October. They're releasing Spirited Away on the 18th.
Great
For anybody who likes the Met Opera, they're also releasing The Nightmare Before Christmas again on the 22nd.
Yeah.
And Terrifier is getting another, either a re-release, and Paranorman in 3D is getting a remastered re-release.
So in all major markets, just to kind of follow up on that, Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair, which is both movies pieced together. In all major markets, we'll be releasing December 5th. Not only Lionsgate's putting that out on a standard format, but also 70 millimeter and 35 millimeter. So that would be
the whole movie
in
together.
70 millimeter for sure.
So is the whole movie together then?
Yeah, The Whole Bloody Affair. So basically, they're taking out the
in between.
Yeah. And then they're adding 7 minutes of never before seen animated
Ooh.
new footage.
Would it? But okay, never before seen, as if they never used it, or they're making
I
new.
don't. The article I read didn't go into that other than to say just what I said.
Okay.
So I haven't dug further. So I apologize. I don't know.
All right. Well, before we go, let me introduce the chat to Bentley.
Nice.
Bentley.
Bentley. He's not officially a part of the family household, but he's visiting me every day now, morning and evening. And now I got him a collar with a tag so I can track him and make sure he's doing okay.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe by next year he'll be official member of this house.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I might go see the Good Boy movie. So I started this year by watching Presence, which is a movie told from the ghost's point of view.
Oh.
Well, maybe not in the year, but at the end of the year, watch another movie from the dog's point of view. Be interesting. Presence was an amazing movie, by the way. If you haven't seen it, you should.
Yeah. What was that one movie that came out a few years ago? I think it had to do something with paranormal stuff, but by the trailers, it looks like it was one of those very up its own ass artsy fartsy where it's, what was it, Casey Affleck, or was it Casey Affleck where he's
The Ghost Story?
A Ghost Story, yeah.
Story, yeah.
Yeah. It's not like that, right?
No.
Okay. Got it.
I mean, no.
Okay.
No. This is really good. Really well written.
All righty then.
It's Soderbergh and David Cope.
Cool. Okay,
Yeah,
so what's on the agenda next week?
I don't know.
Is there even an agenda?
I don't think there is one.
Well, I know I got my F1 Steelbook's going to come in next week, and somebody asked us in the chat about that.
Nice.
Then we could finally talk about that.
Do the F1 review?
Yeah. The one that we promised people back for 4th of July.
Right.
Well, I'll make sure to bring some sparklers.
Yeah.
Oh,
Scotty saw that one, right?
I think he did. I'm not sure.
I think he did for the show, and then we
verify this.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So until next time, I'm Cat Steve Ernesto. We'll get back to you guys on whether or not we will have a show next week. We'll see. We haven't decided fully what our next whole series is going to be, so we'll be figuring that out.
Yep. I think, yeah. So it's probably the perfect time to do that F1 review.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll probably do F1 next week then. That might be a good one.
It gives us a little buffer, and we can figure out what the next.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for coming and being in the chat tonight. That's real cool. Having you here.
Yep, as always.
Awesome. All right. Well, until we meet again.
Peace.
Good night, everyone.